How's it going, everyone? My name is Michael SK, and welcome back to Amatsutsumi. I have no idea what pleasant experience occurred in the previous episode right at the end, but things are getting a little grim. Azuki-san's days are truly numbered. The relationship between Makoto and Kokodo are... it's really weird. It's really confusing. And, yeah, other than that, Kokodo has some sort of deep-ass secret that's going on, and who the hell also knows what else is happening, you know? Or what else could pop up? Everything is just rough right now. But we headed downstairs to make breakfast. Now that we're done eating, Kokodo and I are leaving the house together. It feels like ages since I've worn this uniform. She smiles, but it only lasts for a few seconds. She's glad that I finally woke up. Oh, that's right. Okay, so Mana is in town. How she found us, how she got to us, who the hell knows? But she is around, and she has a Kotodama put on us where we can't notice her. And I don't think our lovely friends here can either. So she's around, we just have no idea where and what her goal is. Maybe she's just observing us, I don't know. But she seems excited to go to school again, and I'm sure that Mom's condition is never far from her mind. I know because I'm the same way. We continue walking, not saying much to each other. We both know that if we start a conversation, it'll inevitably lead to talking about Mom. Before I know it, we've arrived at the school gates. Yeah. She smiles and then waves as she heads toward the school building. She's such a strong girl to still be able to smile at a time like this, and I think to myself. But at the same time, I think it would fit her gentle nature better to cry it out instead of putting on a brave face. I just don't want her to break from the stress. But it's bound to happen at some point. It's been one day. Why are you so tall? Koichi greets me as soon as I enter the classroom. It's Tuesday today, and I haven't seen him since Friday, so that really is a long time. Good morning.
No,
I'm fine. Yeah, thanks for worrying about me, though. Apparently, nobody in the class knows about what's happening with Mom. He scratches his head sheepishly. I realize how happy I am to be back among all these people. I hope Kokodo feels the same way about meeting her classmates again. If something came up, I might be in and out for the next few days. It should resolve itself pretty soon. After that, I'll get back to enjoying my school life. Or my life at school.
Thank you,
Koichi. I have an idea. Once things settle down, let's go eat a meal together. Oh, come on. I sense someone looking at me. Oh yeah, it's been a while since we've seen Kyoko, and she is standing a short distance away. Doesn't that posture hurt? She's just slightly too far away to talk to us, but she's looking at us all the same. She should either come closer or stop staring.
Huh?
He follows my gaze and then frowns. What is his problem with this woman? At first, I think he's trying to do me a favor by leaving me alone with Kyoko, but his expression looks grim as he returns to his seat. As he leaves, Kyoko approaches and takes his place in front of my desk.
Makoto-kun, ohayou gozaimasu.
Good morning. So, just the good morning then? Oh, I see. Sorry about that. Well, go ahead and say it then.
では、今日は いい天気ですね。
Yeah, it's hot and sunny, isn't it? Recently, I've gotten used to air conditioning, so the humidity bothers me more than the heat, though.
土日のお休みは何をしていましたか？
Gave up on talking about the weather, did you?
天気の話に真剣に返事をされても困るじゃないですか。
For awkward people, yes. Which kind of fits this, but come on. Let's try harder. Just checking, but when you said you were thinking of what to say, you meant that you wanted to have a conversation with me, right?
はい、もちろんです。
Of course. Something seems off about this, but at least we're in agreement on that point. She chuckles.
誠くん、1週間で随分と表情豊かになりましたね。
I've gotten pretty used to life out here, I guess.
つまり、私を置いて、誠くんもリア充な側に惹かれるのですね。
Normie? Is that English?
リアル、すなわち普段の生活が充実しているという言葉みたいです。
Isn't that a term that, like, otakus use? Happy. Huh, I don't know about that.
その反応だと、逆に何か充実ではないことでもあったんですか？
Oh, a few things. Well, before I can reply, I hear the morning bell.
なっちゃいましたね。
Sorry for being so weird today, and sorry for apologizing so much.
何かあるなら、また休み時間に聞きますから。
I like her character. She's weird, and I don't know, in a way, it's not like weird. Well, I guess it is. It's a more natural type of weird, not like an anime type of weird. Well, I guess it is. I have no idea how to describe it. Maybe it is an anime type of weird. She goes back to her seat, and soon the teacher arrives, and homeroom begins. Well, back to the grind. After that is first period. It's history, which is one of the few subjects I'm interested in and can kind of follow, but today I can't pay attention properly. I came to school with Kokodo for her sake, but now that I'm here, I find I can't sit still. I can't stop thinking that Azuki-san might be dying even at this very moment. By attending school, I feel like I'm wasting what precious little time I have left with her. And while talking to Koichi and Kyoko did make me feel better, now I feel guilty for trying to distract myself from reality. I give up on listening to the teacher's lecture and start to think, is there anything I can do to help? If so, what? I consider various possibilities. In the end, though, what I'd like most is for Azuki-san to simply not die. But my village couldn't even protect itself from an epidemic that modern medicine could have cured. If even her highly qualified doctors can't save Azuki-san's life, then what use could I possibly be? I do have one special tool, my Kotodama, but a Kotodama can only make you do something you're already physically capable of. If I said to someone jump 10 feet into the air, they wouldn't be able to do it. So if I told Azuki-san to be cured or live, all it would do is implant that goal in her mind, not actually heal her body. And in any case, Kotodamas involving life and death were strictly taboo in the village. Even Mana wasn't able to succeed when she tried. I guess I'm out of options. I've thought about this many times. All I can do is maybe try to soothe Kokodo's pain after Azuki-san has already... No, I shouldn't think about that. While Azuki-san is still alive, there's no need to think about what to do after she's gone. For now, I have to stay positive. I'm glad I had that conversation with Hotaru a few days ago. If I hadn't, I might have spiraled into despair by now, spitting curses under my breath in the middle of class. I might have fallen into the trap of only thinking about what I might regret, rather than what I want to accomplish. I sigh softly. Since my parents died so early, I was never fully taught everything about the way Kotodama works. The village elders are probably especially mad at me for that. Not only did I break the rules by leaving, but I didn't even bother to wait until I had finished my studies. I wish I had at least asked Mana to teach me more about Kotodama before I left. Wait, that's odd. I have a nagging feeling that something isn't quite making sense. There's some kind of connection I'm not making. As the teacher drones on, I think hard about what that connection could be.
誠くん
Huh? My thoughts are interrupted, goddamn, by someone calling my name. Kyoko has come up to my desk again. First period must have ended without me realizing it.
大丈夫ですか
I was just thinking about something, that's all.
投稿してきた時もそうでしたけど、やっぱり何か悩み事があるみたいですね。
You're not wrong.
その、
She looks around uncomfortably, blushing slightly.
もしも私とお話ししてくださるなら、場所を変えてもらってもいいですか
You don't feel comfortable here in the classroom?
なんだか私が誰かと話しているというだけで恐れ多い気がしてしまって。
I'm not one to talk, but I think you might need to work on your social skills. I stand up from my desk. With Kyoko's key, we should be able to get into the library prep room. She had the same idea, so we go there together. Kyoko unlocks the door and we go inside. Inside, the room is just as dusty as I remember, but it's nice and quiet. The smell of old books is strong, but it's a good place to have a conversation.
それで悩みというのは昨日お休みしたことにも関係があるんですか
Yes, it is. I'm reluctant to tell her the specifics about Azuki-san and her condition, so I try to keep it more abstract while still getting to the heart of my problem. Kyoko, what would you do if you really wanted something to happen, but you knew it was impossible?
諦める
Well, fuck. That was your first thought, huh?
そうですよね。それなら私が言うと妙に聞こえるかもしれませんが、神頼みでしょうか。
Pray, in other words. I'm a bit taken aback.
まあ神様は今まで500円玉をお賽銭箱に入れてもすぐにはお友達をくれませんでしたが。
Well, me being somebody who doesn't believe in gods, or anything of that sort, yeah, that's something that happens naturally. A deep sadness passes over her face at this recollection. I should probably try to steer this conversation away from the concept of friends. If this was something that praying to the gods would solve, I would do it happily. But unfortunately, I don't think this is one of those things.
意外と心はすっきりするものですよ。
She smiles gently.
神には力があるけれども意志はありません。
No will? What do you mean? My curiosity is piqued by her odd statement.
神は雨土に宿り、すべての物事はあるがままに。そして人には力はないけれど意志があります。
Does that mean that the free will of human beings is at odds with the natural order? Maybe what that means is that Azuki-san's death is simply fate, and I should accept it. But Kyoko shakes her head.
いいえ、人の意志も願いもまた世界の一部です。そうじゃなかったら神社でのお参りや祈祷もありませんよ。だからこそ人の意志をただの欲望ではなく正しい言葉で天に渡すことが神社や神職の役割ですね。かしこみかしこみ、お頼みも申すわけです。
Kyoko, have you already heard about what I'm struggling with? Something about her tone makes me think she already knows about Azuki-san and is trying to comfort me.
いえ、自慢ではありませんが、私に噂話や世間話をするような人は全くいません。
I don't know if that would ever be a brag. You're right, that's not much of a brag.
傷つきましたが、いえ、これも友人同士の軽口ですよね。
Even her positivity is negative. Anyway, what she's saying is very interesting, but I don't think her suggestion will truly solve the problem. In the first place, well, I'm a god myself, so if I can't do it, why would another god be able to? I have something I really wish I could do, but it's impossible and doing it is forbidden in the first place. I mutter the words dejectedly. It's the same conclusion I had reached back in the classroom. I guess I'm just grumbling again like Kotoru said. Kyoko looks at me oddly. Oh, sorry, I know. I'm being really vague. Don't worry about it.
いえ、そうではなくて、何の話かわかりませんが、実現できないのに禁止されているんですか？
Huh?
できないならやるなは理解できるのですが、できないのに禁止というのは、なんだかこう、二重になっていて不思議な感じがしますね。
Oh, that's it. That's what I was missing. In the village, we were strictly forbidden to use kotodamas involving life and death. And I had the impression that kotodamas involving life and death were impossible, but I must have mixed that up with the taboo in my mind. She's right. It wouldn't make sense to forbid something that was impossible, which means maybe it was forbidden precisely because it actually is possible? I think hard. No, wait, there's something I have to do first. I look up at Kyoko. Her expression tells me that she has no idea what's going on. 'Thank you, Kyoko. I never imagined that my conversation with her would lead me to this realization. Maybe this is all part of the god's plan.
なんだかわかりませんが、これはあれですね。友達なんだから当然ですよ。
Oh, what a lonely thing to say. But I do like her character. There's something unique about her. I don't know. In a way, I kind of feel for her. As the break ends, I don't go back to the classroom. Instead, I walk out to the courtyard and then into the chapel at the back. Second period has already long since begun. But here I am sitting on one of the long benches, staring up at the statue of a foreign god. Meanwhile, my mind is somewhere else. Thinking back and counting, it hasn't even been 2 weeks since I left the village and arrived in town. As so much has happened in that short span. I left the village so I could live normally in human society, but it's hard to say whether my life here so far has really been normal. Either way, I can't help but smile when I think of all the experiences I've had so far. One thing I've definitely learned is how to smile. I can feel the muscles in my cheeks moving by themselves, pulling my mouth into the right shape. My speech has become so much more natural with practice, and this world has challenged my old ways of thinking too. If Mana could see me now, I'm sure she would be surprised. I was born and raised as a god, but now I've been able to experience life as a human for almost 2 weeks. I threw away my regrets on the night I left the village, and I certainly don't have any regrets now. I remember the conversations I've had with Hotaru and Kyoko. I remember my past with Mana. I remember the strict rules that were enforced in the village. I remember the extreme symptoms I experienced just yesterday. Now all these things have crystallized in my mind, showing me the way forward. I may not be able to save lives with my Kotodama, but now I know I can at least try. And that's not all. Kotodama consumes life. I remember when I searched high and low for Hotaru on the school grounds. I remember when later that day I sprinted to the hospital after hearing that Azuki-san had been in an accident. And I remember how I wished aloud at her bedside that she would live. The stronger the will I poured into my Kotodama, the more physical effects I felt soon afterward.
命を削るとか、かっこいい宿命とか、そういうのとセットじゃないと。
Well, she called it. You guessed it in one, Hotaru. I laugh out loud. I don't think I'm doomed to a tragic fate or anything, but if I have to give up my life force, it'll be for a very good cause. I just want to save my family. I guess this means I'm going to die. The words come out dispassionately, as if I'm talking about someone else entirely. To save one life, you have to sacrifice another. That's nothing surprising. Anyone would agree that would be a fair exchange. There was more I wanted to do, and more I wanted to see in this wide world, but Azuki-san doesn't have any time left. If I'm going to do this, I have to do it tonight. Tonight, huh? Somehow it still hasn't hit me that I'm going to die in a few hours. I felt far closer to death when I had collapsed on the side of the road from dehydration a mere 2 weeks ago. I still owe her for that lozenge. I think back to how Kokodo saved me that day. Giving my life to save her mother should be enough to pay her back, maybe. It's time to close the curtain on my life as a human and return to being a god one last time. I am he who speaks. Bane but a word, boon but a word. Speak thou but a word, and thy wish shall be granted. And then I speak what Kyoko called a kotoage? To strengthen my resolve, I mentally recite what I want to do, what I will to do. I am he who shall grant his own wish and bring happiness to Azuki-san and Kokodo. I hear the bell chime in the main building. Taking out my phone and checking the time, I see it's already the end of 4th period. The lunch break has begun. Damn, I wish school would go by this fucking quick in reality. Damn, y'all remember high school when the clock would sometimes tick fucking minutes backwards? That shit sucked. Alright, I think I don't think I read that one, but we stood up, we left. Out in the courtyard, the sun is shining and the sky is clear. It's perfect weather. Summer is a season that's full of life.
Ikinasai.
Ayo? Yes, I have to go. I already told my homeroom teacher that I was going to leave early, so I meet up with Kokodo and head toward the hospital. I thought about saying goodbye to Kyoko and Koichi, who had been kind enough to befriend me during my short stay here, but I didn't think I'd be able to say see you tomorrow, so I decided against it. Years from now, I hope they'll still remember that there was once a strange transfer student who was in their class for a few days. Kokodo and I hold hands as we walk. Oh god. Don't close your eyes, you somehow look worse when you do. Azuki-san isn't awake when we arrive, unfortunately. She's so fast asleep that she doesn't even stir when I come up to her bedside. Her face is very pale and looks almost lifeless. If not for the slightest motion of the sheet above her chest, it would be hard to tell that she's even breathing. We decide to go home for now and come back later. As we're leaving, a doctor stops us to deliver a warning. We'll call you if she takes a turn for the worse, so please be prepared to come at a moment's notice, even in the middle of the night. Oh boy. Guys, I think it's gonna get really emotional. I think it's about to get fucking real. If it hasn't already. Okay, so this episode is gonna have 2 halves. I'm gonna have to come back to record the rest of this episode later. I bit the side of my tongue like really hard, and like it's kind of hard to speak a lot, and I'm actually kind of struggling. So tomorrow's me will continue this episode. But I just wanted to mention that I don't think that Kotodama is going to actually work out the way that we're thinking here. I feel like there's something else to it. I mean, if Mana was completely unable to do the medically impossible and save somebody's life, there's no way that it's going to work here, even if like there's a strong will. I mean, we've kind of learned the specifics of the Kotodama. It's all a mental thing. There's no way that we can mentally force somebody to get their organs going again. Unless? No, there's no way. There's no way. I don't think it's going to happen. But we'll see how the rest of this episode goes with future Michael. And he'll take it away from here. Alrighty, time to get back to it. After returning home and eating lunch with Kokodo, I'm now sitting on my bed. The two of us plan to go back to the hospital around sunset. I guess it's goodbye to this room too. I've only lived in it for a short while, but I already feel attached to it. I've even gotten used to sleeping in this unnaturally fluffy bed. I remember I had to sleep on the floor on my first day, and then when I woke up, I was subjected to Kokodo's jam onigiri. That thing was disgusting. I chuckled to myself. I only have a few hours left now. I feel like there are so many things left for me to do, though there's no time to go too far afield. But I think the thing I want to do most is to sleep. I had a nice big lunch and now I get to sleep peacefully on my soft bed in my nice cool air-conditioned room. When I wake up, I'll have myself a nice glass of cola. What could be better than that? I won't oversleep, Kokodo will see to that, and this time my body feels fine, so I'm sure I'll be able to wake up normally. Still in my school uniform, I burrow under the covers and close my eyes. Good night. The next time I open my eyes will be the last time I ever wake up, and the next sleep after that will be my eternal summer siesta. Yeah, I wonder about that. I mean, we have like a whole game ahead of us. There's no way that we're going to die here. Unless, when I wake up, everything's quiet. I didn't dream and Kokodo didn't come to wake me up. I simply slept and then woke up on my own. It's sunset. The sky outside the window is a beautiful flaming red. My bedside clock shows that the time is just past 6 p.m. This time I didn't sleep like the dead for more than 12 hours. It was just a normal afternoon nap. I wonder what Kokodo is doing. I get out of bed and look toward the door. For some reason, Kokodo is standing in the doorway. She must have been on her way to wake me up. Why didn't I notice her? I must not have been fully awake. Kokodo.
Nani?
She hears me and responds. But just like Azuki-san's pale face in the hospital, I sense no energy in Kokodo's voice. Are you okay?
さっき、お母さんの着替えを取りに部屋に行ったの。
She looks down at her feet.
そこでね、お母さん、もう、あの部屋に帰ってこないのかな？
Well, that's sad.
お父さんがそうだったみたいに、いつもいるはずの部屋からいなくなっちゃうのかな？この家からみんな、いなくなっちゃうのかな？
Kokodo.
大丈夫だよ。私、強い子だから。でも、少しだけ泣いちゃって、母さんに泣き顔は見せたくないの。
Her voice catches in her throat as she speaks. Even now, she's holding back her tears as she tries to smile. Wordlessly, I step forward and embrace her. What she needs now is not comforting words, but to know that someone's there for her. I know because that's what I need most of all, too.
兄さん。
It's okay, Kokodo. I pat her on the head back softly as we hug. Mom isn't going to die. She's going to come back home, I'm sure of it.
でも、
It's all right.
でも、怖いよ。
Her strong facade is crumbling.
お母さん、死んじゃ嫌だよ。
She tightens her arms around my back, and her voice reverberates in my heart stronger than any Kotodama ever could. Kokodo, I'll make sure your wish comes true. I whisper in her ear. I'll grant every single one.
なんで？
She's uncomprehending like a small child. Because, Kokodo, I'm your big brother.
なんでも叶えてくれるの？
Well, within reason, but yes.
兄さんはいなくならないよね。
Uh-oh. She looks up at me, her eyes brimming. I can hear her swallow anxiously. Why do you think that? I'm perfectly healthy, right?
だって、だって、
She looks away for a moment, uncertain, and then turns back to me again.
お母さんも心配だけど、兄さんも、なんだか、どこかへ行っちゃいそうだから。
How could it feel like that?
ふわって
Where are you getting that feeling?
消えちゃいそうに感じるの。
I haven't said a word, but she was somehow able to sense my resolve, it seems. We know each other as well as real siblings now. Although I wish she hadn't guessed the truth, that fact makes me happy and I can't hide my smile. You're imagining things, Kokodo. I'm fine. I'm not going anywhere.
私を一人にはしないよね。
That's right. I hug her tightly. If this is to be our last embrace, I want to make it a proper one. One that fully expresses my love for her. Kokodo won't be alone, and I'll make sure of that. When I leave this house, it may be that I'll never return, but I'll make sure that Azuki-san does.
兄さん、
She looks deep into my eyes, still not convinced. She's still instinctively sensing my intentions on some level.
いなくならないって。
I can't bring myself to say it. When Hotaru fixes me with her gaze, I feel like that she'll know if I'm lying. But when Kokodo looks into my eyes, I feel, it makes me too guilty to lie in the first place. I can't. I have to lie to her here, but I don't want to. My conflicting desires tie my tongue.
兄さん、答えられないの？
You don't have to worry about anything. Oops. I didn't mean that to come out as a Kotodama. But my love for her is so strong that my words came out of my mouth with the full force of one. Kokodo's expression fades into blankness. But then a different expression comes to her face as her cheeks begin to blush. Kokodo hugs her arms around her chest and lets out a hot exhale. Her unease should be gone, but how's the Kotodama affecting her? While I'm still confused as to whether I should embrace her right now, Kokodo lifts her face toward mine? She tosses me to the ground, hey yo! Her push didn't actually have much force behind it, but it was so sudden that I didn't have time to brace myself. I fall on my behind, my field of vision jolted, and then... Hey, yo, wait a minute. Hey, where's this coming from? How did that happen so quick? And where did the somber mood go? With her clothes unbuttoned to expose her underwear, Kokodo straddles me. Kokodo then presses her body up against mine desperately while I'm still overcome with shock.
私の怖さ、消して。
This is not the time for this.
寂しさ、忘れさせて。
Like, this is totally not the time for this.
兄さんはいなくならないって、証明して。
Her plea was passionate and painfully forlorn.
兄さんのこと、私、好きなの。いけないのに、ダメなのに。私、兄さんのこと、一人の男の人として好き。一つ屋根の下にいる兄さんに、めちゃくちゃにされたいって。
What the fuck?
ずっと
Why?
思ってたの。
That's not normal.
夜に隣の部屋で兄さんが寝てるんだって考えながら、オナにそんな自分がおかしな子なんじゃないかってずっともういいんだよね。
You don't have to worry about anything. I guess what I mean is you don't have to worry about us being siblings. The Kotodama meant to rid her of her unease has unintentionally laid bare Kokodo's barely repressed desires. However, precisely because of this mistake, I'm now able to see the real Kokodo. She's my lonely, spoiled little sister who's greedy enough to want me for her own. What Kokodo really wants is the warmth of another person, a firm connection with someone. And that's what I wanted to find when I left the village. The sensation of loneliness is similar to that of a cold. Or that of cold, it's cold even in the summer. My time spent cowering alone in that dimly lit house in the village had taught me that. Kokodo, I want the warmth of another person too. I'm worried about Azuki-san and I can sense my own death right around the corner. No matter how much of a brave front I try to put up, I can't rid myself of my fear. Kokodo. Without thinking, I reach out to Kokodo. For the first time, I'm not touching my little sister to comfort her, but rather to love her as a woman. Well, big news here, gamers. That's not our sister. Her eyes are tinted with the color of arousal, so I can't really call this incest or step incest or anything like that. It's just a really weird situation. Even though we're brother and sister, which we're not, I sense that Kokodo's aroma has become more womanly. That moment, a shiver of pleasure runs through my body. It's a heavy, alien type of pleasure that I've never felt before. It's completely different from how I felt with Mana, who agrees to anything and everything I want, and Hotaru, who I viewed as a member of the opposite sex from the start. Since I've started having affection for my family, I felt simultaneously repulsed and attracted to the thought of treating Kokodo as a woman rather than my sister. Forbidden love and forbidden pleasure. I can see that combination of these things is intense. I understand Kokodo's confused feelings after she kissed me for the first time even better now. I want to protect and cherish my little sister, but I also want to ravish her. What a guy. What a man. A sister just for me. And a girl just for me.
Nisa.
Kokodo also desires to be defiled. Oh my god. This is just too weird. It's weird. And I've talked about this before, that, you know, this is kind of like a conflict in some sort of way. Yeah, I don't know how to even feel about this. All right, well, I guess we can just go ahead and skip on forward here. I don't know if there's anything else to really gain from this, but just in case, I'll read a little bit more until we really just get into the meat of things. Just for a moment, I forget about Azuki-san and abandon myself to my desire to have sex with my sister. That is a terrible line. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? Yeah, okay, yeah, we're going into that territory. Okay, we'll just, we'll leave it at that. Okay, not bad, not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah, we ended that off by telling her goodnight as a Kotodama. Among some other things, Kotodama was not used for anything really proper and all that, I'll say that much. I hear the sound of Kokodo's gentle, regular breathing coming from the bed. She's not just tired from making love, there's no doubt she's been losing a lot of sleep over the last few days. You're finally fast asleep, aren't you, Kokodo? I run my fingers through her hair as a bittersweet smile rises to my lips. I feel guilty that we ended up making love as brother and sister, but my body enjoyed it all the same, and I can't deny that I feel refreshed. Again, it ain't real. Looking at the window, I see that the sun is already set. It's about time for me to leave. But before I go, I bend down to kiss Kokodo's cheek as I whisper my farewell into her ear. Mom will come back home, so don't worry and sleep well. Thank you, Kokodo. I'm so glad I met you. There's no way that he's gonna die, though. There's no way. We have a whole game ahead of us. There's no way. Before leaving the house, I changed into my old yukata and left all my borrowed things in my room. Now I'll be leaving this town exactly as I entered it. I wandered down the lamp-lit road. The night air is still warm from the afternoon's heat, and I feel like I'm swimming through dark waters. But up in the sky, the moon is shining beautifully. I wish I could see the moonlight playing on the surface of the lake, but I can't make detours. When I reach the hospital, they tell me that visitation hours are over, but they let me in as a special exception. They likely think I'm here to stay watch at Azuki-san's deathbed. She don't look good. I enter her room and sit down in the chair at her bedside without turning on the lights. She still hasn't woken up. No, it's likely that at this rate she'll never wake up again. Mom. In the silence of the moonlit room, even my whisper sounds loud in my ears. Sorry I'm late. I take her hand in mine. Her skin is very, very cold. What should I say? I start to compose the Kotodama in my mind and then shake my head. No, there's no need to think too hard. The true power of Kotodama doesn't depend on conciseness, diction, or phrasing. It depends on how much feeling you're able to put into your words. And so, maybe the best and strongest Kotodama is one without editing, embellishment, or euphemism. One that comes straight from the heart. The words don't matter at all. It just has to make sense. I don't know where I should start or what I should say. I think I've already said the really important things. I was happy that you and Kokodo were kind enough to bring me into your family. And that's the most important thing. Thank you. I bow my head, close my eyes, and press her hand to my forehead. Before I came to this town, I had nothing precious to protect. I didn't even understand what was precious to me. When I left my village, I was leaving behind the chance to remain safe, quiet, and happy for the rest of my days. Well, Mana's teasing notwithstanding. And so I found myself wondering whether it was really worth it to leave and come here to the outside world. Well, it was. It really, really was. Of course, everyone around here says this is just a small town way out in the countryside. There are other places I've seen in photographs, places filled with skyscrapers where tens of thousands of people pass by every day. Oceans, where water stretches as far as the eye can see in all directions, and yet lands that exist even beyond those oceans. But to me, even this small town was beyond the edge of my world. It was a new world where human beings lived their lives in freedom. I love this new world. I love you and Kokodo from the bottom of my heart. I love all my friends like Hotaru, Kyoko, and Koichi too. And this whole world is overflowing with love. And I don't want to lose any of it, especially what's right in front of me. So, my voice trembles a little. The fear of death is slowly rising in me, but to speak my truest Kotodama, I have to include that emotion as well. I have to speak my heart just as it is. So although I would have liked to find a way for both of us to live, unfortunately I don't have the power to do that, and sometimes we don't get everything we want. I'm afraid to die, As I speak, my hands are finally starting to shake. I'm starting to feel that heat of panic twitching behind my eyes. I'm scared. I don't want to die. I don't want to die. There are so many things I still wanted to do. I wanted to properly experience life as a student. I wanted to go with you and Kokodo to the beach. I'm sorry that I won't be able to make it. I got to make love to Hotaru and Kokodo, and I wanted to get to know them better. If I'm being honest, I wanted to make love to Kyoko too, if possible. And Koichi, and maybe you too. Really, so many things have happened that if I listed everything I still wanted to do, I'd be here until sunrise. But while I don't want to die, much more than that, I do want to live. I want to live. And that means doing all the things I've wanted to do. It means protecting what's important to me. If I can't do that, life isn't worth living. I want to live, and that's why I must leave. That's why I must die. The lump in my throat finally grows large enough to stop the rush of words. Will I die as soon as I say the last word of my Kotodama? Or will there be some delay before I breathe my last? I don't know. But it's strange. As my death approaches, the tremor running through my body subsides. I'm able to smile. I'm at peace. Mom, I want you to be happy. And to live? Come on, include that part. That's a very important part. There it is. I want you to live. Damn, this shit's sad. This shit real sad. What's happening? What's going to happen? Are we dead? Oh, no. But there is water. We done diddly do hear water. Well, who knows if we're alive or dead? We'll have to find out in the next episode, I guess. Yeah, my tongue is still not cooperative. If you missed what I'm talking about in the middle of this episode, I mentioned that I bit my tongue and it's like really hard to properly speak. I'm probably mispronouncing more, but maybe I'm just always mispronouncing things. I don't know. No, it's just really hard for me to speak for long periods of time, which is why this episode was cut into 2 recording sessions. But I think we made some pretty good progress here. Who the hell knows what's going to happen now? Everything is really just taking a wacky-ass turn. But I know for a fact that we have so much more game left for us, so what happens now? Something is bound to happen. I guess we'll find out next time. Thank you all for watching this episode. I hope you all enjoyed. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz, and I will see you all next time. Take it easy.